And you can't bring towels. Oh yeah, we got a party, there you go. Mum thinks you have to wear white.
Yeah, well I'm in white, but you guys aren't.
You're in white and black, does that count? If they throw you out, it's not because you're 50, it's because you're not wearing white.
I think that's right. Welcome to Croatia. We've extended our stay here. A month simply wasn't enough.
Yeah, we've had some fantastic sailing and there's just some brilliant sights to see around here and some surprises. I mean, there's real surprises in Croatia, isn't there?
Yep, the islands are certainly interesting. I hope you like the film. Coming up, rafting down the river Zmanja. It's okay to go backwards. Eating oysters and mussels fresh from the river. Delicious. And dancing back to normal, at least on this island in Croatia. We begin anchored in Ist, a small island off the coast of Croatia with beautiful wildlife and a church on the top of the hill. So of course we take a walk up. Ist has a population of just 182, and while visitors are welcome, it's still pretty quiet.
It's like an alpine road, but without the snow.
It's pretty much straight up. A few little respite stops, but no, let's go.
We're here.
We made it! Yay! It is quite a stunning coastline.
Yeah, this is looking west, so that's the mainland, and there's a string of islands between that and us.
And hardly anyone out on such a lovely day.
No? They're the only boats I can see in all of this sea. There's an amazing pungent smell up here, which is this stuff. We call it curry plant, I'm not sure what the real name is.
One thing about the beautiful island of Ist is that everyone has been vaccinated. So lucky for us, the doctor has some leftover vaccine, AstraZeneca's vaccine, so we're off to get our second jab. Can you believe it? It's so lucky.
You really wouldn't have thought that was the case, that could happen, but yeah, we just met the doctor. It's just a little village. He said, yeah, come on down, we can do no charge. So we're taking one of our tote bags and a couple of bottles of wine. That's even something. I
hope he thinks that's a good present. It's all we had as presents on board, so yeah. Anyway, I'm so pleased, very happy. I still can't quite believe our luck. We are very grateful. Next day, a slow sail with just the Yankee out. And Steve is taking a new approach to fishing. And what are you doing?
I'm jiggling my rod. It's what you told me to do.
Yeah, he's kind of fishing in a way that most fishermen fish, which is by holding their rod and at least being aware that it exists rather than plonking it in the pot you've got there and going away. So yeah, anyway, is it working?
It's got my full attention. I've got a smaller lure on it than before. I got all these, Bill Hall sent me these fantastic lures, but I think he might have been a little bit over optimistic with the size of the fish in this part of the Med, so I'm trying something a little bit smaller. And yeah, we're going 4 knots, so I think that should be fine.
Hello, 4 knots. It's just amazing. Well, I've been keeping a lookout for all the other boats who might be
You're
here.
supposed to be in charge, not taking videos.
Because I'm in charge, obviously. But there's not many out. There's just one motorboat over there you can see. There's been a couple of sailboats. We probably won't get all the way to Split today, but you never know. We'll go as far as we can, and then we're picking up a daughter, Chessie.
Yeah,
Looking
Jessie's
forward to
coming.
seeing her. It's going to be great. So, yeah, we're on our way.
Seems to be a bit of a regatta going on here. There's a whole bunch of boats racing up from behind us, buying spinnakers and some big foresails.
Behind us and then past us. A lovely sight. And then another sight in our next anchorage. There are several submarine tunnels along this coast, dating back to the First World War.
It's actually quite freaky in there. For some reason you feel like whispering. It's odd. You could actually bring Fair Isle in here. It's big enough and deep enough. I think you've got about 5 metres here. And all these tyres along the side out here. I don't know when it was last used for submarines, but it's been sort of fairly well kept up. Strange place.
It was too dark inside for the video camera, so we took this picture on a long exposure. The next day we head for the town of Seagrass, where we're going to park up and head inland to pick up Chessie from the airport. But first, that strange optical illusion going under a bridge. I'm never quite convinced the mast will fit.
Don't like it. It looks like you clear it by a couple of metres, but in fact we've got 10 metres to spare.
Made it. What a lovely morning.
Split Airport is now very posh. Wasn't like this last time I came.
No, it's new. Definitely new.
But very convenient. Free car parking. Seen Chessie's plane land.
It was the only plane,
So
so
hopefully
that's the clue.
Hopefully she gets through. Didn't have much luck the other end. They gave her a really hard time because coming to a boat you haven't got an address. So giving her the address as Town Key Seagrass didn't impress them. So it was a bit of fun and games. Let's hope she gets through. Completely empty. There's hers. I don't know if that was you. That was bloody quick.
I know, literally, they just let me. I'm so sorry, I was so stressed this morning.
No,
You weren't the only one that was dressed.
It had taken several phone calls and tears to catch the 6 a.m. flight.
I need to open the car. You're so tired.
Don't often wear trousers.
I don't. I thought I'd better be smart in case I have to get her out of customs or something.
Right, I'm coming for quite a while. And most of it is your stuff.
Thank you. Having a car is tricky when you have a boat at anchor, so here's the thing. We drive from the airport in Split to where we parked Fair Isle overnight in Seagrass. We then sail up to the Kirker National Park to anchor for a couple of days. But that means the car is still in Seagrass, which is several miles away.
So we're leaving Fair Isle in the lake to go and collect our car. So it's a bit tricky because we've got to go about 8.5 miles down here, and we've got all 3 of us on board. Jess is here.
Hello. 8.5 miles.
8.5, I think it's about 8.5, yeah.
Okay, so we've got the oars because I'm just thinking we might not make 8.5 miles. But we have got to pick up the car and then we're going kayaking tomorrow, so it's worth it. The journey takes a couple of hours in our dinghy through the spectacular gorge carved by the river.
I feel like I've been here before, familiar with the view. This ain't
A good time to find the best places to sit.
every time that you walk through the door. I'm hit by the same old tide, blinded by the lights, and I'm going through.
You can hear the big trucks going over.
But it's easier with you.
We also pass floating huts selling mussels and oysters.
You open? Okay, don't worry.
This one has run out for the day, but at the next stop, we are lucky.
Okay, hello. Do you have mussels? And some oyster, okay. Thank you. Great, what do we want, guys?
But you want oysters, I want mussels.
Yeah. Okay, we have a dozen oysters and...
I don't know if I can.
Don't try this at home, folks.
Yeah, they really are lovely stuff.
Now to taste.
Fantastic.
Really, really good.
They were lovely.
They were huge. That was so good.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have the rest tonight.
Yeah.
So you just dive and pick them, do you, or pull them up?
No, we go with a machine. We have a machine on the other side.
Oh, okay.
These freshwater mussels are farmed all along the river and sold by the bucket.
Yeah, they're good. They're big, aren't they? Good ones.
There we are, 3 kilos of mussels. I hope we're hungry, guys. For about £8. The oysters were a bit more expensive. They were about 12, but dinner sorted.
Easy. And very fresh.
Totally.
So we made it, we're here.
Yep.
We're going to stop for a beer because we're all parched. And we've got 25% left. I think that's a result.
Excellent. Well done, little dinghy. Now we're going to deflate you and put you in a car. Ta-da! Oh my goodness, they've all
Wow.
opened. Fantastic.
They look delicious.
I think most of them opened. We don't eat the non-opened ones.
There you go.
Great, thank you. And then put some sauce on.
Early the next morning, we head inland for this, kayaking.
My legs won't reach the thing. I'm sitting back now.
After half an hour's training, it's a gentle start.
We did most of that backwards.
Time to practice steering. And then we're off. The water is crystal clear, but cold. Stop for lunch by the waterfall. We went round this one, not down it. And then the grand finale. 5 kilometres of rapids.
Oh well, that's one way going down.
The other must-see place to visit is the Kirker Falls. There are some tourists here, but it isn't at all crowded, and the falls themselves are magnificent. The Tesla hydroelectric plant was opened here in 1895, just 2 days after the first Tesla station at Niagara Falls. Now the plant is a museum and the whole area preserved as a place of beauty.
Have you seen the water up there? It's so clear. Amazing. I'm really tempted to have a swim,
Yeah, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
but it's not legal. So
We'll probably have a paddle.
you think so?
Yeah, let's go and put our feet in.
Okay.
Swimming was disallowed here a few years ago, but after watching several people take a dip, we decide to chance it. Jessie took to the water in style. I'm a little less confident. More a walrus than a mermaid. We're anchored at the bottom of the river, and diving off the boat into fresh water is a rare delight. We are also hoping the fresh water might help clean the hull, but sadly I can now report that hasn't happened.
Comedy specials at 8. Fishing rod and a quiet feet. But what I caught wouldn't be big enough for you and I and say I did great.
As we make our way back out to sea, a light wind makes for a gentle sail on the Yankee. With the wind behind us, there's a chance for some sailing lessons.
Know that I'm left with
Yeah, that's right. Good. Right, now ease it out a little bit.
Taking out that jammer at the top.
ask if I'm okay.
But of course, the most important activity is sunbathing.
We've suddenly found people. We've got an anchorage with other boats in. Bit of a super yacht over there and a nightclub over here with some very loud music going on, which probably won't make this the ideal anchorage, but we're going to go and have a look. This is Carpe Diem apparently. Doesn't look like there's anybody there actually at the moment, but maybe they're all hiding in their trees. It's a strange place. So we're going to go and check it out, see what all the noise is about. You've heard about this place before, haven't you, Chess?
No, my friend's been. She said it was insane. So we shall see.
Okay.
It's so weird.
It's a bit wet.
It's wet, it's windy, it's actually got a bit cold now.
And there's no one on the beach.
No, it's a club with no one in it from this side, but apparently it's all around the other side.
Woo!
And you can't bring your towels. Oh yeah, we got a party, there you go. Mum thinks you have to wear white.
Yeah, well I'm in white, but you guys aren't.
You're in white and black, does that count? Yeah, they'll throw you out, G. If they throw you out, it's not because you're 50, it's because you're not wearing white.
I think that's right.
It was strange to have a party like that, no COVID restrictions last night. It wasn't packed or anything, and it actually finished at 10 o'clock at night. Normally it goes on till 4 in the morning. Our youngest daughter's been here before and says, yeah, it's an absolute all-nighter. But not in these times. Maybe they closed early because of COVID, but it's become a daytime haunt as well, because look at this. We've been joined this morning by all these super yachts.
Oh my God.
They're fitting him in. They probably all laid their chains over the top of ours though, so they'll all have to move when we go.
We've lost, haven't we?
It was indeed time to move on and catch up with our friends from Project Manania. Manuel and Pina are marine biologists who've been monitoring sea life along the Croatian coastline for many years. They've seen some worrying changes, especially to the seagrass.
So you've got some beautiful pictures of seagrass, and I know that's one of the things that you're here to protect.
Yes, exactly. So seagrass, especially in the Mediterranean, well, we have a few different kinds of seagrass, and Posidonia is really the big one. So it's the only one, if you ever jump in the water in the Mediterranean in wintertime and see seagrass, it's Posidonia. All the others basically die off over the winter, and then they grow back in spring. And especially in the Northern Adriatic, in the last years we've been losing it. They say about 25% of every species that lives in the entire Mediterranean spends part of its life in the seagrass. So that again means if the seagrass is not there, you will eventually lose those 25%. And you look around, if you go swimming, most of the fish you see would be lipfish, especially in the shallow waters. And all of those, as babies, they are green, tiny sized, and they hide in the seagrass. And the little green fish will just very much stand out if it's swimming over a rock. So then they would be easy to hunt.
Yeah.
I see.
I mean, obviously we've got quite a good experiment going on here then, because you've had the Balearics, which for a number of years have been massively protecting it, and elsewhere they haven't. What's been the outcome of that? Has anyone done any research to know how quick it recovers, if it does recover?
There is a couple of NGOs that are working in Spain, in the Balearics. Specifically, there's the Save the Med Foundation that are pretty active there. And the seagrass meadows there are at least not getting worse. So they are on a fairly steady point right now, which is a lot more than we can say about most of the other parts of the Med.
Sure. Because it's not just about anchoring, is it? It's about temperature change of water, is it, as well? Yeah, and that's obviously not...
So anchoring is really one of many things that influence the seagrass.
Yeah.
So nutrients is one, the temperature is one, drag nets, horrible.
Yeah, yeah.
And they can take out hundreds of meters of seagrass in one go.
Yeah, yeah.
But then even a small anchor, I mean, ours is about half a meter wide. So if you drag your anchor 10 meters, say,
Yeah,
it takes a good 25 years for that gap to close again.
yeah.
In terms of seagrass or invasive species, most of the work that we are doing is really just jumping in the water and observing what we see. And then you document it, you take pictures and videos of everything, and that's about as far as it has to go. And in recent years there was things like Pinna nobilis, like the giant clamshells.
Yeah.
They've been dying off throughout the entire Mediterranean.
Yeah.
And last year we were just getting lucky, taking a picture of one of the last living ones in Croatia. And now I think they're counting 7 in the entire coastline.
Really?
Wow.
I've seen signs around saying, protected and you mustn't touch, but they're down to 7. That's amazing.
Yeah, so 7 individuals
Yeah.
along the entire hundreds of miles of coastline in Croatia.
Yeah.
The same thing is true for species that come in from the south. So like by now we have lionfish in Croatia, we
Yeah.
have pufferfish in Croatia,
Yeah.
we have the rabbitfish, which is just intruding all over the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
And they slowly make their way north. And then So the data collection is the one thing, and the other part is getting the word out.
And what can we do as non-biologists, non-scientists, if you like? What can we do to clean up the environment or to make a difference?
Well, since you started with cleaning up, that's actually something that everyone can do. If you look around, I didn't see a single real clean beach this year. And we do the dolphin watch as we are on the way all the time, and we also take note of all the rubbish we see floating past. And on average, I would say we see about 100 times more rubbish than marine life.
Yeah.
So it is everywhere, and it's not a lot of work to just take a bag with you, and if you see a lot of rubbish, just pick it up.
Now, Pina, I want to ask you, usually there are up to 6 people here on the boat. What's that like?
It's really busy. Everyone is different, and depending on the motivation of the day, if we see dolphins, everyone is excited really because we do dolphin watch while we're on the way, and that day is perfect. But if we don't see any on the way, if we arrive in a new location, if the weather is cold, the mood would be a little down. But if you bake a cake, everyone is happy. That's what I have.
So yes, quite a sobering view from the scientists, but I think everyone's talking about it now, so that's good. And there is something you can do. That's what I learned.
Yeah, I mean, public awareness is there, but the issues are quite complex. We have got a longer version of that interview. It's over half an hour long, but it's fascinating. It goes into all sorts of things like anti-fouling, whatever. So try and catch that. It's with the patrons at the moment. It'll be out in a couple of days. Also have a look at their site. I'll put a link in the description. They just do some really good work, and you know, really worth looking up what they're doing, really.
Meanwhile, we are pleased we went electric with our little engine, the dinghy.
Yeah, that trip in the dinghy. I mean, it sort of shows what it can do. It's got the range, but we get lots of questions about dinghy. Obviously, a lot of people are thinking of going electric now, aren't they? You know, with engines, and you know, we've done some in-depth things with the patrons. And I mean, I got an email from a viewer the other day, wondering whether they should do it, wondering whether they should go electric, and their worry was, you know, it's not going to plane, and it's not. With an engine like that, you're not going to go places fast. So if you're going to go electric, I mean, get a good electric engine. I think the Propulsion is definitely the best one out there, but don't expect it to be a replacement for your gas engine, for your petrol engine, because you can't just jump in it and whiz round the bay, do an errand, whiz back again. You're sightseeing when you're doing, aren't you? You're doing things slowly.
But you will get there. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, 8 miles, I was slightly concerned that we'd need the oars, but in fact it made it easily. So it just took a long time, but that's fine. We don't go anywhere particularly fast. And for little hops, it's absolutely fine. You can pop over to, I don't know, a beach or to a restaurant or to see someone else on their boat, and it's been perfect.
And the advantages are just, I mean, you know, really, really good. The lightness of it, to have on and off, no petrol, you know, all that stuff. So it's perfect for us.
Exactly. So we will spend the next week or so going through the islands as well, heading towards Dubrovnik, which is where we'll probably check out.
Yeah, they made the Game of Thrones in Dubrovnik. We might see a dragon.
We might. Unlikely, but we might see a dragon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to our patrons, thank you to our subscribers, and thank you, and I hope we see you again in a couple of weeks.
Thanks for watching.